Hey everyone, J Sports Cards here, and today I wanted to share my experience on Friday at the National Sports Collectors Convention this year, also called the National. So Friday was my last day at the National, even though the National itself runs until Sundays. So this was my second time going to the National. I went there first in 2019 before COVID. So the first thing I had in my agenda that day was to meet Cheryl Miller, the greatest women's basketball player of all time, and also the sister of Reggie Miller. And so I had bought TriStar tickets for a photo op and also brought some 8x10 photos for her to sign. But unfortunately, I was a bit late for the photo op due to traffic and missed it. And so I stood in line for the autograph, and Cheryl was super nice and she actually offered to pose with me for the photo op. She definitely did not have to do that at all, and I was not expecting that, so I was super grateful for that, and I thanked her a bunch of times. And then after taking the photo, she also graciously signed my 8x10 photos that I brought. I initially asked her to inscribe greatest women's basketball player, but she was a little bit too humble and she said she can't do that. But she did happily inscribe Miller time on a photo with her and Reggie Miller. So I was super happy with that. And then in my previous video, I mentioned I was not able to pick up the MJ patch card for 3,000 bucks because I didn't have the 3,000 in cash with me at the time. So that morning on Friday, we went to the ATM to withdraw $3,000 in cash and made the deal with Coleman Cards to buy the MJ patch that I mentioned. Then I went up to the second floor and checked out the vendors there in the upper floor, and I was able to pick up this James Harden Court Kings case set for 42 bucks, and I thought that was a really good deal. There wasn't a whole lot in the upper floor though, and a lot of empty space that was not really utilized well, honestly. So not long after that, I came back downstairs and did some more card shopping. I noticed this Shaquille O'Neal finals jersey, and I had my eyes on this card for quite some time on eBay. And I always wanted this card for my PC personal collection, and so I made a deal with the seller to pick it up for 220 bucks, and I'm super happy with that deal. Then I also noticed this Michael Jordan Final Floor Relic card featuring a floor relic of the court he played some of his final games on. And this is the rare regular size version, not the oversized jumbo version. So it's a much more rare and valuable card. And I noticed it was listed for a really good price for the regular size version. And so I offered about 170 to the seller and he accepted the offer. So I was super happy about that. And then later on in the show, I noticed this Yoenis Cespedes card. Now I'm not a Mets fan or a Cespedes fan, but this has such a sick patch and it was such a good looking card. And so I made an offer of 35 bucks and the seller surprisingly accepted that offer, so I was super happy because it was listed for 50 bucks and I just kind of took a shot in the dark with that 35 offer, honestly. So super happy and super thankful for the seller for that. And then I also noticed this LeBron James patch card that's number 23 out of 23, which is also his jersey number. So this was at the Legends Sports card table, and so I noticed it was listed for 275 bucks, and I wanted to make a deal with the seller, but I had to wait for some time while the seller was making a deal on a really expensive Charizard card. I think it went for like $7,000 or maybe more than that. But once that deal was done, I made a deal with Jeff, the dealer at the table, and I was able to get this for 245 bucks at the end. So I was pretty happy about that. And then finally, I was looking for a graded vintage card to buy for my dad who came to the National with me this year and helped me out a lot. And so I wanted to buy him a gift. And I noticed this Ted Williams 1954 PSA 1.5 listed for 185 bucks. And so I made a deal with the seller to buy for 175 cash because I was looking around the other tables and this seemed like the best fit and a good starter card for my dad who doesn't really collect cards, but I still wanted to give him a commemorative type gift. So yeah, that was a quick recap of my day at the National on Friday this year. I was able to pick up some nice cards like the Michael Jordan patch and Shaquille O'Neal finals jersey card, but most importantly, I was able to meet Cheryl Miller, the greatest women's basketball player of all time, and also got to get her autographs, so it was an amazing day for me personally. I hope that was interesting and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one.